Here comes the money, here comes the money, bling, bling, dollar, dollar. Wait, is that even the song? Is that how the song goes? Bling, bling, dollar, dollar. I think that's somewhere in it. Could have sworn it was at the beginning of it. It's two here comes the money, here comes the money, here comes the money. And then maybe bling, bling, dollar, dollar. Maybe I'm just fabricating that. Who knows? Shane McMahon making it into the news cycle today. He has been, a couple of times in the past couple of weeks, and it all revolved around the same type of story. Shane McMahon is crushing his rehab and way ahead of schedule. He's pulling some Aaron Rodgers type maneuvering, right? Where Rodgers is supposed to miss the whole season, and this dude's like, well, no, I'm going to come back around week 16, 17, last couple of games if we're still in it. Or if I just want to come back even if we're not still in it. Can Aaron Rodgers seriously come back from his injury the same season? He's crushing his rehab, and so far doctors are saying yes, it's possible. Well, over in WWE land, Shane McMahon is ahead of schedule. His own son, Declan, the last report we got was several days ago. Declan McMahon, who is the son of Shane McMahon, who, by the way, looks identical. You'd think they were brothers if you had a younger Vincent Kennedy, but identical to his grandfather, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Looks more like Vincent Kennedy than Shane. But Declan McMahon said he's crushing it. He's already back to, and this was a week ago, several days to a week ago. He's already back to jogging, squatting. He's doing all of it, and his doctor said he's ahead of schedule. But what are you rushing for? It's obvious he wants his WrestleMania moment back. I mean, nobody should have to go out the way that he did. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, no, he should just stay away. That was a sign of just stay away. That was the universe telling you, right? Divine intervention. Quit while you're ahead or not ahead, however you look at it. But just stop. And then there's others of us like BC. We're kind of like, dude, you can't go out like that. WrestleMania, you guys remember, I remember like it was yesterday, man. Snoop Dogg was a hero. Snoop Dogg saw Shanathan McMahon down. Shanathan cannot move. Shanathan has to get up and beat up Miz and pin him. So Snoop gets in, and Snoop talks a little trash, and Snoop just decks Miz. Snoop put WrestleMania on his shoulders, on his back for that entire segment when McMahon went down. But that was a torn quadricep. So that's about 5 to 8 months recovery for somebody who is younger, youthful. Shane is in his 50s, I believe. So your rehab time would uptick to about 6 to 9 months, depending on how you're doing and many factors. So 6 to 9 months, if you just do that fully, you'd be back well before WrestleMania. You'd even have a little bit extra time to really just any area that needs a little bit more fine-tune it, right? And then it doesn't have to be a 20-minute match. You're not taking 15, 20 minutes from anybody, but Shane McMahon can have his appearance at WrestleMania, take out somebody, who knows, maybe get taken out, right? Help out someone, maybe give a little bit of a rub to somebody. A McMahon gives somebody a rub, maybe, who knows? That came out right. No, not the Vincent Kennedy rub. Anyway, I think Shane McMahon has to have a different ride off into the sunset. I do. And we all believe that he was just rehabbing for WrestleMania. Anyway, where am I getting with this? That's not what we're hearing at all anymore. Oh, no. The new report is he's rushing this rehab because he's coming back for the Royal Rumble. Shane McMahon will be an entrant to the... Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to the greatest, what was it? The Best in the World tournament when he actually won the trophy. Oh, man, you talk about the wrestling world flipping out when Shane McMahon won that trophy. Guys, in 2024, if Shane McMahon was to win the Royal Rumble, it would be, the wrestling world would go on immediate riot protest. It would just absolutely... up in arms. Everybody would just go out into the streets together and start the protest on WWE. That would be funny. There's no doubt he's not winning this thing. So what is it really setting up? If this is to happen, and he's able to be an entry into the Rumble, but we know he's not showing up to win, is somebody taking it? Are they going to set up a program? Knowing Shane McMahon, I bet you he wants to set a program up. So he got injured just having a special appearance. He's going to try to prove everybody wrong and show everybody that he can not only do a match, but a whole storyline before he rides off into the sunset. I wouldn't put it past Shane to start a program at Rumble and have the payoff at Mania. But either way, guys, his rehab is being, it looks like, pushed up again, 5 to 8 months for somebody who's younger. But his rehab is going ahead of schedule, so even though he's a little older, you would put him into that bracket, which would be 5 to 8 months. He got injured in April. Rest of April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Guys, that's 9 months, even if it's just the full rehab for the torn quad. Yes, you want a full year, but yeah, if your rehab is ahead of schedule and Shane is as aggressive as he is with his rehab, 9 months. I mean, guys, I think this report is pretty accurate. That's the only reason I would bring this story up to you guys. If I think there's more accuracy to this or more of a reputable outcome than not, I'm going to give you guys what I am hearing. And that's what I'm hearing. And recording this, the more I'm talking to you guys about it, it's all making more sense. Shane McMahon Rumble. I got to believe that what I am hearing is going to be pretty accurate. We'll see. Now, when you're talking, here comes the money, you got to be thinking Mercedes Moné. Because, yup, Tony Khan did it again. Tony Khan cannot help himself. Another major announcement was made on Wednesday night. On Wednesday night, Tony Khan said, and I quote, AEW has agreed to terms with one of the world's best wrestlers, a pro who is known and respected by virtually every AEW fan. They'll come to LA to sign their contract this Saturday, 11/18, on pay-per-view at Full Gear. So at least this major announcement actually, we know what it has to do with, right? We know that it kind of became a joke in the community. Every time that Tony wants to pop a rating, he calls a major announcement, right? And the announcement is always something really goofy, like AEW is getting a reality show, like anybody truly cares. Or the recent big announcement, right? That the ticket sale, the pre-sale for tickets for All In, Wembley Stadium next year? The ticket sales, he gave you the date on when you could pick up tickets. That was the major announcement that we had to tune in to primetime television for. You couldn't have just sent the press release and made it easy on everybody. And he does this all the time. So now he says, I'm signing a major wrestler and I'm telling you about it in advance. So you say, well, BC, smart marketing, right? I mean, this is going to be it's a big signing. You want it to be announced so you get the viewership in the pay-per-view buys, but you also want it to be a surprise. So this is brilliant. Announce a top player, but not the name, and then distribute at the pay-per-view. Yes, if you have the top player, right? Like the name going around right now is Mercedes Moné. It started off as just could it be? Then all of a sudden, the wrestling world, like it always does, picks up on it. All of a sudden, the hype and the expectations pick up. And then you say, well, that's not Tony Khan's fault, but it's the same thing with WWE and CM Punk. If you guys caught my upload I put up just a few hours ago, the latest report we're getting, CM Punk is not, and he's been teasing a lot with a Survivor Series appearance and an AEW appearance under the Devil Mask. And because of those teases, it can pretty much confirm what we're hearing. That the reports are true. AEW and WWE are not offering Punk a return. Punk is not coming back to either. And WWE is in a rock and a hard spot because Chicago has every right to be pissed off because all of these teases were on WWE programming. Bluntly, like Grayson Waller, not asked to take it down or asked not to do that. USA Network, which produces Raw, puts up the GTS with the caption, best in the world. Things like that. And WWE is just laughing it off. More interest for Survivor Series. Okay. Until you can't distribute or don't distribute Punk And then they have every right to say, dude, yeah, we got our expectations up, but how dare you say, well, we didn't promote them. It's not our fault. You're the ones who got your expectations high. You as the promoter know this, and you were allowing the teases. You were allowing all the references. You asked for nobody to take anything down or not to do such this close to Chicago. Same thing with AEW, guys. Same exact thing. When Tony Khan announces something like this, that he's going to sign a top player, right? In his words, come to terms with one of the world's best wrestlers, a pro known and respected by virtually every AEW fan. Okay, now you have to put up or shut up. It better be a top star. And then everybody has to chime in at that point. Well, what really qualifies? Right? Because there's names out there like Ibushi. Could it be Ibushi that he's talking about? Well, that is a nope. And it's a nope because Khan already announced that Ibushi has signed with All Elite Wrestling. Ibushi is already elite. So that checks him off. Would that have been a big enough name for the American audience? It's a question to ask. Just like Sam Callahan, right? Sammy Callahan. Most of us know who he is, what he's capable of, where he's been, and what an asset he would be. But is that a big enough name for what Tony Khan is hyping? Sam Callahan. What about Dolph Ziggler? Dolph Ziggler is somebody that would be big in a company like AEW, you would hope. But we've seen the CM Punks and the Edge, Adam Copeland, show up and have no real course set for them. The ratings stay stagnant, and for Edge, Adam Copeland's, in his case, they're just drastically going down. It's like nobody even cares. It's like they've already forgotten Adam Copeland is in AEW. What the heck is Dolph Ziggler going to do this close to Adam Copeland just coming in? And not really anything going on with him. Him and Christian are just in this stale thing that people are already looking past. So my point is timing and everything. With Dolph Ziggler, would this be the time for him? Can Tony Khan bring in so many more talents when his ship is already sinking because he has too many people on his roster? Dolph Ziggler just seems like an odd timing to bring him in. And then the only other name we could possibly come up with is Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks. And again, because this has taken on a life of its own, because this is what Tony Khan does. He hypes. He's a hype man, right? He's like Paul E. Dangerously, Paul Heyman, right? They hype. They're the ultimate salesman. They can sell ice cream or just pure ice to an Eskimo. That's how good they are. But at some point, you turn into the boy that cried wolf, and you start crying wolf, wolf, and they come running, and there's no wolf. And the next day, it's the same thing. But eventually, the wolf shows up, and you cry out, and the villagers don't show up. Whatever. You get eaten by the damn wolves, nobody cared, right? Tony Khan is going to announce these things too many times, and eventually, people are going to stop believing in these announcements. So my point is, he has to bring a massive name now. And he's already got the name, obviously. Is it big enough? Is it Mercedes? Because at this point, I think that's the only name your audience is going to accept. Because it's taken on a life of its own. Once again, the hype man put the ultimate hype train into motion. And every time it doesn't deliver, it has to fall squarely on Tony Khan's shoulders. If Mercedes Moné shows up on Saturday night, then he delivered. Anybody else, I don't see how that's worth the hype that he is already producing, knowing that the pro wrestling world is going to take this and really over-exaggerate it, oversaturate it. Sam Callahan or Dolph Ziggler. Much respect to both of those dudes by the majority of us. Is that big enough? A, but B, what does that do for an already overcrowded roster to add a Sam Callahan and a Dolph Ziggler? But if you're adding Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, that women's roster just got 1,010% more solidified, more bona fide, and more badass. It became prestigious and relevant. Snap of a finger, blink of an eye, drop of a hat. Could it be one of my favorites of all time? Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné is back. on American television, back with a major American promotion, debuting in AEW. And by the way, as Tony Khan said, it'll be this Saturday that this person signs the contract at the PPV in LA, Los Angeles. Of all places, Los Angeles. There's only two places for Mercedes to sign this. It's either going to be Boston, Massachusetts, or Los Angeles. This is one of the two. We shall see. Until next time, and there will be that next time. Current situation, we out. BC saying check you. Peace.